that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
Good morning, everybody. Very cloudy, crappy day. Gonna be raining most of the day. Long weekend. May 2-4. So I decided to come down here, have a walk in with all the birds and everything. Have a chat with you. Oh, sorry I didn't put a video out yesterday. I was burnt out. I even went home from work early and just like, I was just dead. You know how it gets. Had a busy day. But I'm sure I amused a bunch of you with that meme I put out. Anyway, as for the RimWorld thing, I am going to do that. I just haven't had time to play this week at all. I know I normally just take an hour here or there, but I just haven't had an hour. A lot of things going on. Anyway, so today I want to talk to you about something. You see, with our government and everything, they're always talking about, we need to end capitalism. Well, capitalism is the world we live in. And they're talking about ending it. Well, yeah, but where's your alternative? You're not giving us a choice and an alternative. You're just trying to force government spending down our throat. Force ideology down our throat. There is no, try and have the people on side for this. No. We're just going to shove everything down your throat. And I was reading an article in Financial Times. Yes, I do have quite the diverse collection of things I read when it comes to trying to come up with topics for this. It's also to keep myself informed, on different things. Anyway, so I was reading an article in the Financial Times, and I want to point something out to you. There's an old saying, if you want something done, you can do it yourself. No, I can't remember. How's that saying go? Capitalism. Okay, let's forget the saying. Let's talk about capitalism, okay? The reason capitalism exists is because governments are inept at actually getting anything done. Ooh, a little breezy up here. Let's go this way. Governments are inept at getting anything done. And anybody knows that if a government is going to do something, it's going to cost 3 times as much, take 10 times as long, and be half as good. I mean, it's pretty much common knowledge. This is how it works, right? But, so I want to take a program and talk to you about it. A program that actually is kind of needed in Canada. Well, anywhere really. Any developed nation. It's kind of needed. In today's world, where men and women have to work in order to pay their bills. Because the economy is at a point where you just can't do it on your own. It is virtually impossible, unless you get really lucky, to just get by day to day as a single person. It is so hard. Everybody knows they need help. Hell, even the government knows we need help. But Yeah, let's go up the hill. Excuse me. The government has decided to start a program. And the idea behind it and everything is great. But the problem is, it's created more problems than it's solved. And I'm talking about the $10 a day daycare. Okay? Yes, on paper, this is a fantastic idea. Okay? It really is. Because, like I said, it takes 2 incomes to pay the bills these days, to buy a loaf of bread these days. It's beyond ridiculous. But this is the world we have right now. Pardon me. So the government decided to create this $10 a day daycare thing. And on paper it looks great. But in practice, it broke the daycare system that existed. You see, under the way it was before, there was a capitalist system. Okay, and the way the capitalist system works is supply and demand. Okay, people paid for the daycare they could afford. And daycares range from babysitters to basically schools for children. And we've taken that system and now tried to uniform it, make it uniform across the board. Well, under the capitalist system, okay, the best childcare specialists, I guess, I'm not sure what you would call somebody who works at a daycare. Childcare specialist? Sure, we'll go with that. They used to work for the most expensive and prestigious daycares. And then you had the middle range qualified people. They worked in the mid-range daycares. And then you had the low range, low skilled childcare people, and they worked in the low cost daycares. And this is the way the capital system works. So as you earned more money, you could afford better quality. And it works for everything. You go to the store to buy underwear, okay? You can buy the $5 thing of underwear. You can buy a $20 pair of underwear. Or you can buy a $100 pair of underwear. And each one has a different quality level and have different, they meet a different that's so cool. Sorry, I'm listening to I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick it up in the audio. I believe it's a pheasant and they flap their wings or anyway, they meet different needs, okay? Depending on your income level. And the government has walked in and destroyed that. You see, because by uniforming it across the board, everywhere, now we have a mix of high-skilled, low-skilled, no-skilled employees working in these daycares. And so no daycare is actually meeting the quality that the person getting the service is looking for. And on top of that, because it's $10 a day for daycare now, well, no one's using babysitters anymore because, well, it's $10 a day for daycare. Well, then I should be able to put my kid in daycare. Well, now we don't have enough daycare spaces. And not only that, we don't have enough staff to fill these positions. So, they created even more hardships for even more people. So now there's huge waiting lists. Like before, there used to be waiting lists. But now, the way they dealt with waiting lists before was the daycare would raise its rates. And those that could afford it would attend that school. The more demand that was on that school, the more they would raise their rates. The more they raise their rates, the higher quality caregivers they would hire, and it was a perpetual motion, feeding onto itself. Now, with uniform, there's no prestigious daycares. I mean, I'm sure there's still some private ones, but those will be reserved for Trudeau and his cabinet, I guess. Well, maybe his friends, his skiing buddies, you know, like Johnson's grandkids. Anyway. So now we have a system that is completely broken across the country because nobody that desperately needs a daycare at a cheap rate because they make a low income can get a space. The only people getting spaces in these daycares are those with connections to them, donations to them, you know, people that can afford to skip the line. You know what I mean? And there's many different ways of skipping the line. Well, that's the only way that you can get a child into daycare these days, at $10 a day for daycare. But the sad part about all this is, it's not $10 a day for daycare. So that mother, a single mother who decides they're going to go back to work after having a child, they're single, so they need daycare. So they get a spot in that $10 a day daycare, and they get themselves a job, and they're proud of what they're doing. But the thing is, now in that job, they're paying more taxes because we have to supplement that daycare the price they would normally charge. It's just this never-ending cycle of stupidity coming out of this government. Because the way they're setting everything up, Canadians aren't allowed to make an income anymore because we're going to have to pay it all in taxes in order to supplement all the programs that this government keeps wanting to pump out. Instead of working within our own means, no, we'll just keep adding more taxes. Oh, we need a new program over here? No problem, let's add a new tax. You know, kind of like carbon tax 2.0. This is just, I don't know. At what point do Canadians start to go, when do the adults stand up and go, you know what? Enough is enough. You know, as much as I appreciate what you're trying to do, you're doing it wrong. You're causing more problems than you're solving. So we need to get back to the basics and just give a crap about people. You know, the way it was before, that single mom, she couldn't afford daycare. So what did she do? She went to family and friends and asked somebody, hey, can you babysit my kid? Yes, it wasn't a perfect solution, but it got that mother off of sitting at home, taking care of the child, out into the workforce, earning more money in her pocket than she does under the current system. I'm just so done with everybody trying to do everything for everyone, and we can't afford it. Okay, we really can't afford it to do everything for everybody. It's a sad reality. But we can't expect the government and every other Canadian citizen to pay for everything we are responsible for ourselves. I love the idea of a $10 a day daycare, but we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the staffing, and we don't have the financing to support it. Just like every other program Trudeau comes out with. You know, wants to pay $13 billion to Volkswagen, who's never had a plant in North America, but only $1 billion to Chrysler, who has how many plants in Canada? And does business across the border constantly every single day. Like, where's the logic in this one? Of course Chrysler turned around and said, well, screw you. I don't blame them one bit. I would say pretty much the same thing. Oh, you're going to give my buddy this much, but you're not going to give it to me? Psh, screw that. I'll just go to the neighbor. Anybody that's had work done on their house knows that. That's the way it works. Yeah. I'm just babbling now. Oh my God, it's 16 minutes. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. I don't mean to be cruel and I don't mean to be mean about this one, but we need to accept reality in this one. We're causing more problems than we're helping. So I don't know the solution. You can say, oh, well, we'll just hire more daycare staff. Well, yeah, that doesn't solve the problem at all, because you're not getting quality staff. You're not getting people that actually care. You're just putting people in a position. And even putting those people in position, it's going to be like the healthcare system, where you have to bring people in. There won't be enough to just say, hey, we have enough staff. We just don't have the people. We don't have the money, especially right now. Oh, I gotta go. Well, guys, I'm gonna finish my walk and enjoy the birds. Welcome to the Fringe. I forgot. There's one other little detail with this $10 a day daycare thing. The government dictates the curriculum instead of the parents. The government tells you how to run your daycare instead of you giving the parents what they want. And you know, government thinks they know best. But the only people that know best for children are parents. Yeah, you know where I'm going with that. Welcome to the Fringe.